Adam, a bad day at the office.
Yeah,
What was your take on that?
tough first half, especially really tough. But they started the game a lot brighter than us. They were a lot better with the ball, put us under a lot of pressure, and I felt we defended quite resiliently at times, blocks and defending the 18-yard box, defending the goal. We had to change our shape a little bit just to try and stop their fullbacks getting overloads against our wing backs because they pushed them right back. And I felt that we kind of got a little bit of a foothold within that first half, maybe 25, 30 minutes in. And we were probably, in that situation where we felt if we get to half time 0-0, we can reset, readjust a little bit, and try and obviously improve second half. And then, just a poor first goal where we've actually had possession of the ball, turned it over, and he smacked it in the top corner. It's a great strike. That knocked the stuffing out of us a little bit, and obviously changed a little bit the messages we had to give at half time. And then to come out and concede a penalty so quickly after making a couple of changes and having a slightly different plan for that second half just makes it incredibly difficult to come back from 2-0. Thought the players kept going right till the end, kept working hard, and we tried different things to try and give them, just to try and create some opportunities really and get us up the pitch, because we did look a bit toothless today throughout the game, it's fair to say. But I can't fault the effort of the players, just two really poor goals, and on reflection of the 90 minutes, you can't really complain that they've come away with 3 points today.
It was probably critical that if you could get into half time goalless, wasn't it? Because you were under a little bit of pressure at times, but had you gone in goalless, that changes things a little bit, doesn't
It
it?
does, yeah. Listen, I've said to you quite a few times now, first goal's absolutely massive. Um, and when you're probably a team that's suffering a little bit confidence wise, going behind, it does make a difference. When you then go 2-0 down, it's even harder, particularly at a place like this. Their form here has been fantastic, and obviously they're really well supported. So, yeah, difficult afternoon for us, but we've just got to keep working.
You in the Boxing Day game, you were very unlucky. You created lots of chances. Is that the disappointment today that you haven't created so much?
Yeah, I thought we had 2, 3 opportunities. It's not enough. It's not enough, and it's nowhere near as many as them. But generally, coming away from home to the bigger clubs in the league, you don't usually get too many opportunities, clear cut opportunities anyway. Um, yeah, and I just think it was just a difficult afternoon for us generally today. Boxing Day, I felt the players were hard done to not come away with something. But again, it's two goals that one's an absolute belter. The second one, obviously, the first one we should have done better on that day from defending the throw in and making the tackle at the back post. But when things are difficult and going against you, everything seems to kind of go against you. So we've just got to keep working hard.
You started with Cam Hargreaves sort
Mm.
of right back. What was the thought process behind that?
Well, we want him to play wing back, but obviously, as I said earlier, how much dominance they had with the ball, they kind of pinned both Gabby and Cameron back into them fullback areas, and then they got their fullbacks over the halfway line quite a lot. That gave them the overloads on the sides of the pitch, and the way that they move the ball, they're really good when they get into a rhythm with a play. But I think you probably saw a team there. I think I'm right in saying that when their manager came in here, they were down towards the bottom of the league, and he's obviously had time. He's had a full pre-season with them, and obviously they're a lot better this season for that time. So I think you probably saw a little bit of that today, where they've had time to work and shape the team as kind of he wants it, and they're a good side, and they'll probably be close. They just spent a lot of money on a striker a few weeks ago, and that makes a difference. So we've just got to keep working with what we got, keep our best, trying to add to the group, and if we stick together, we'll be all right.
I mean, when you look at both sides, you are in a similar position as a club, or Lynn are in a similar position as a club as to what they were last season, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. And look, it's difficult for a manager coming in, during a season, because you obviously, I think pre-season's massive at any club. You get your team fit and you get your team established and you get them, you've got time to drill them and get them as you want them. And obviously when you come in, you're kind of starting with something that's obviously not your own. And we've got a lot of good players here, but we are short. We do need, some bodies. That the lads that we've got, they're giving absolutely everything. I cannot criticise them in terms of what they're giving us, but it's clear that in a lot of games, I know we've lost a lot of games in recent weeks, which is disappointing. But we haven't really been rolled over. We're quite close in a lot of those games. When we have been beat, they've been narrow defeats to maybe errors or great goals. So we're not a million miles away, but we certainly do need to bring in some bodies just to give us a little bit more support to the group that we've currently got.
I know you will keep concentrating on football matters, but it can't go unnoticed that the fans were chanting, we want Cleve out. I mean, what's your thoughts on the situation? I mean, we've started the new year, but will we get through the week? I mean, what's the latest? I mean, it's a very
Yeah.
difficult period, isn't it?
Well, listen, yeah, it's of course it's difficult. It's not ideal, and I think the supporters, who I have to say, I thought they were outstanding today. I think for us to have over 300 here today, given kind of all of the noises coming out of the club and current run of results and where we find ourselves in the league, I've got nothing but respect for them. To come out in those numbers and support the players throughout the game, before the game, and after the game. We really appreciate that support, and we will need them. Every single game, home and away. Because we're not giving them too much to shout about at the minute. But I do think that whilst we are a little bit short, they do see a set of players and hopefully, a management team that are giving their all for the club. In terms of what's going on off the pitch, you'd have to ask the chairman that. I mean, I don't believe the situation's as bleak as maybe it's been put out there to be. Maybe things could have been put out in a different way, or maybe it would have been better to just keep a lid on things. I'm a massive believer in keeping things behind closed doors, and that's for me. Things should stay as they do in the changing room. They should stay inside the club until they absolutely need to come out. But I've been in. I remember my first job at Northwich, Victoria. And we had a lot of issues there, financial difficulties, players not getting paid. Last 6 weeks of the season, and I managed to get them to the playoff final. I was at Farsley Celtic after winning the league with them, and the chairman changeover and financial difficulties off the pitch, people not being paid and things not happening, and we're not in that situation. We're a long way from that situation, and what I'm saying, the reason why I bring that up is it doesn't faze me, because I've seen it at two of my previous clubs, and I've still managed to have success in difficult times. It takes a lot for me to get flustered. The supporters have got every right to vent their frustrations to both me, and obviously the chairman, which is absolutely fine. That's part and parcel of being the chairman or the manager of any football club. When things aren't right, then they've got to vent that frustration at someone, and generally it's the chairman and the manager that get it, and that's absolutely fine. But we really appreciate the support that they're giving us, because, as I said earlier, to have over 300 fans here, given kind of what's going on, we're all really appreciative of that, and we hope that they come out in the numbers for the Darlington game.
As a manager, I know you say you've been in a similar position or worse position with old clubs. The background noise how do you keep that away from the players? I mean, it makes your job difficult, doesn't it? Keeping that away from the players.
Yeah, it does. But to be fair, we haven't spoke about it. Myself and the players, because I don't think the situation's as bleak as it's been put out there to be. So, for me, all I can do is just keep working hard. With the players, try and keep the players focused, and we've got enough to worry about what's going on the pitch. So what's going on off the pitch, it's not my job's to protect the players, and that's what I'll do. Every single day. The players are going out there, they're performing the best that they can. Obviously, we're a little bit short on confidence, which is natural for any team that's having a bad run of results. But they're giving everything, and that's all that we can continue to do.
Talking about going forward, you've got an absolute massive game, and it is
Mm.
a massive game in terms of the context of table. Darlington. How do you feel about that one on Saturday?
Just the next game. And everybody will obviously build it up that it's a massive game because of obviously, both ours and Darlington's situation. I think probably what will make it harder for us is the fact that they've changed the manager again. So they're naturally going to get a bit of a spring. But look, it's for us. I've just said to the players, we haven't really spoke about the league table and our position. I'm just a big believer in just working day to day, working game to game, and trying to win the next game. That's the next game. Um, the reality is, we've played 2 games against our biggest rivals, and we've obviously come away with nothing in both games. I felt we deserved something on Boxing Day, didn't deserve anything today, and it's disappointing. But the lie of the land is no different for us from what it was after the Southport game, because the teams around us have all been getting beat as well. So whilst it pains me to stand here and say that, because I haven't come here to just try and stave off finish fifth from bottom, but right now we have to start winning some games, or else it will become that situation for us. Darlington's the next game. Obviously it's an important game, but it's just the next one. We've got to reset now, and we've got to refocus, pick ourselves up, and get ready for what will be a big game, and obviously a difficult game, but it's just the next one. And I would say a win gets us probably out of that bottom 4, which I think psychologically it is important. It is massive, but we're not in as bleak a situation as Darlington are at present, because they've probably got to win 3 or 4 to get out of it. So whilst it's not an ideal situation that we're in, we're not a million miles away from getting our noses above the line, and once we do that, hopefully it'll just lift a little bit of pressure, and if the noise in the background can just go away, then hopefully we can settle down, focus, and pick up some more points.
Just one final one from me. A player not involved over the festive period, Billy Jones. What's the situation with him?
He's gone back to Fleetwood he pulled his hamstring the Friday before the Banbury game, I think it was. And sorry, the Monday before the Banbury game, and he's gone back there to be assessed. He's got a tear in his hamstring, so it's probably unlikely that we'll renew his loan. I think it's up on the 2nd of Jan, but he's still a few weeks away, so we probably won't see Billy back.
That's a blow, because he was just starting to really show his worth, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I mean, listen, I'll speak with Fleetwood. I'll speak with Fleetwood tomorrow and see if there's been any kind of acceleration in his recovery time. But I think, for a player like Billy, who's so explosive, hamstrings, you've got to give them the correct amount of time, and it probably doesn't make sense for us to extend that if he's still got another 2 or 3 weeks out. But that just epitomises the way that things have gone for us. I mean, probably one of the most frustrating things for me, I've worked really hard over the Christmas period to try and bring in a striker, and we had it verbally agreed with the striker for him to join us. He scored a lot of goals at this level last season, and he's an established player. And it was the point where he's got his bag packed, ready to come down and move into the house, and just in the 11th hour, it just got whipped from under our feet by somebody at the club, and he's gone to another club in our league. And I looked at my phone today, and he scored an hat-trick within an hour. So you can connect the dots and figure out who that is. But that was a blow. But and listen, I'm not standing here saying that as like kind of sour grapes. But I think it's important that the supporters know that we are trying to get, because I could sign players left, right, and centre, but what's important is we sign players who are going to come in and make the 11 better, not just give us bodies for the sake of bodies. We're trying to get players in who've got a bit of pedigree and who are proven. He certainly would have been a fantastic addition for us, and I think we would have certainly climbed the table had we managed to get him over the line. But as I say, it just got whipped away 11th hour, and it's frustrating when you put so many hours and time into trying to get things like that done, and for them to be taken away, it's incredibly frustrating. So just need the supporters to just be patient with us. recruitment's the most important part of any manager's job, and it's also the hardest, particularly during the season. I'm not the type who likes to just go and bring bodies in for the sake of bodies. I like to get a group and mould them and gel them. We do need to bring some players in just to give us a little bit of a lift, I think. But I won't just go and sign anybody just for the sake of it. It's important we get the right ones, and if that means we have to be a little bit more patient, then we will be. We were patient and waited for one which we felt we got and would have been the right one, and it just got whipped away. So now we're working hard to try and get somebody else.
Off the top of my head, without
No.
looking at the was that Connor Hall?
It was, yeah.
He went signed for Brackley, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a good player. If he scored 20 odd goals for Chorley last year, so it would have been a great acquisition for us. And the player wanted to come, but it just got the landscape changed at the 11th hour, and he's ended up going there. And good luck to him.